but I don't like this look right here. I'd like to do something to fill that in. Now that piece that I put on here yesterday, the big fiberglass piece with the pinstriping on it, I didn't really like that either. I kind of like having the tank be visible. In fact, I'm thinking about buying a spun aluminum fuel tank to go back here, which would be bigger, it would fill this space up more, and it'd be a lot nicer looking. But I'd like to have something here, and I was trying to figure out what I could put there. And I had these mats. These are called, oh, I don't know what they're called. You can buy them at the Tractor Supply store. Pin stable mats or something. 9.5 inches. 9.5 inches. You can usually cut this stuff pretty well with a those little Sharpie knives. Let's see if we can. Oh, I should have a bunch of them right up in here. These little skinny bladed ones seem to work well. Let's see what we can do. It may be this is too thick to cut with one of those, but it may be that I can mark it with one and then come back and cut it with a saw. Alrighty then. So I didn't have to get a saw after all. I was able to cut it with a sharp knife. It just took a lot of cut. But here we have it. Now, bumper. And of course, how do I get that angle? Well, the best way to get it would be get it from the bumper. And how do I get it from the bumper? Well, let's see. So maybe there's a way to use the bumper to draw the line. And how do I do that? Well, the best way to do it is with some sort of marking tool. Of course, this stuff is hard to mark on. But if I had a proper marking tool, I should be able to run it along. Maybe set it on this and put it here. Okay. And then see, here's the bumper here. I'm gonna have to study on this one. Yep, trim. Scratch with. This is just a big old screw into a board. I hammered the end down in here a bit. I got a stapler over there and I stapled these down and then I hammered them into place. The idea is that this marker will sit out from here. And then what I'll do is I'll put this up against the bumper and I'll slide it across here back and forth to make a mark that I can then follow up with by taking a saw and cutting the mark. And I'm going to hold this kind of straight up and down and just like go like this. Ain't easy, but it's doable. Might be better to make a lighter mark so I don't wind up pushing the screw down into the piece below. Because if I do that, it just moves that piece. But if I make a lighter mark, kind of like this. See. I don't wind up moving my rubber piece, but I can still get a pretty good mark on that. So here's my mark. Now what I want to do is cut that. Now if I want to get really fancy, see there's a space in the middle where there's about 1/8 of an inch there. I could make my whole cut about 1/8 of an inch inside that mark. That way when I get down to this, I don't have to cut it all the way across here. Probably about right here I could stop cutting. Y'all following what I'm saying there? So what's the best thing to use? Well, believe it or not, I've done something like this on a table saw before, and I've got a table saw down in the banjo shed. I could pull that table saw out. Probably the safest thing for my fingers would be to do that, because if you're trying to hold this thing that is kind of floppy and run a saw through it all at the same time, or even if you've got something pretty good to set it on, it's kind of hard to get a good cut on that type of material. That saw blade down and I run right through it like it was hot butter. Let's go try it. Actually looks pretty good. Let's see, I've got my curve here. Let's take it up there and see how she fits. So if this comes up to here, that fits pretty nicely. Now I have a couple of these little stand things here. If I was to cut around them, that would work pretty well. I want to get my thing even on both sides. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines here, and I've got 1, 2, 3. Pull it out by half a hair. Push it back by about half a hair. So I need to get a measurement of these two little things that stick up over here. Maybe a screw to do some scratching with. Still the best tool. Yeah. Or even better. Just cut out. Cut that out. There. Right there. I like that pretty well. Of course, this needs to be cleaned up, but it can be. And that works kind of well. It hides that ugly part in there. Yeah, it's okay. So I think what I'm going to do next, I got to shoot a couple of screws in the top of this trailer hitch, and then what I'm going to do is just shoot a screw, maybe one here and one over there, just to keep that in place. Of course, I'll lay this in the driveway and wash it real good, make it nice and clean. Oh,